Just a few weeks, our nation's capital will host the NATO summit. Leaders of NATO are expected to discuss issues like the war in Ukraine.
And researchers believe another key topic will be about strengthening the European component of NATO, especially if the U.S. was to pull back their contributions to the alliance. Our Washington correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
The Center for Strategic and International Studies, better known as CSIS, a bipartisan nonprofit policy research organization analyzing global issues, held a discussion about strengthening NATO's European pillar, meaning the European member nations. The strength of NATO's European pillar has been in question since its founding in the 1940s. Researchers shared what former U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright warned 25 years ago of the emerging European and security defense identity.
Should avoid duplicating or decoupling and discriminating against NATO allies.
The U.S. plays an influential role in the NATO alliance. It's also the largest contributor to the alliance. There's pressure for Europe to do more for its own defense. NATO leaders worry if former President Trump wins the election, he would pull out of the alliance. But Trump has since said the U.S. would stay in the alliance as long as other countries contribute their fair share. But researchers argue that if there was a pullback from the U.S., even a slight pullback, European nations can hold their own without help from America.
I think this idea that Europe can't defend itself is somewhat overdone.
Leading up to the NATO summit, researchers say NATO has been effective in helping Ukraine push back against Russia's aggression. And moving forward, there should be less fear around less U.S. attention on NATO. And lists ways European countries can build a stronger pillar.
More cash, defence spending towards 3% in Europe, more capabilities, filling capability gaps, more combat power, addressing readiness and industrial capacity, and then finally more cooperation in Europe as well.
In Washington, Rachel Knapp, WENY News.